I would love to see if you guys pick on who I'm channeling today, because it's my season, Spooktober. And with that, we're going to jump right into some of your favorite Talks with Taeler Hendrix segments today, including, but not limited to, your Netflix top 10 in the US this week. Coming in at number 10 is its third season with Netflix. It actually looks really cool. It's in my queue. I'm definitely excited to see it. Your number 10 this week is In the Dark. Coming in at number 9 is a really fun movie that I cannot wait to watch. It's also been in my queue for a long time and I have not watched it. Going in Style. So I definitely want to check that out. Coming in at number 8 is Dave Chappelle's special, The Closer. Now, I don't know why people are trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. I must have missed something, but I don't always agree with cancel culture anyway. So I don't know what's going on. So if you guys do, definitely let me know, because I have no idea. I love Dave Chappelle. So I've always thought he was hilarious back when I was a little kid, even, you know, seeing him on different specials with Mel Brooks and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. Coming in at number 7, it's pretty much been a mainstay throughout the entire year thus far of 2021. Your number 7 this week is none other than Coco Melon. Coming in at number 6 is brand new to the Netflix top 10. It is a 2021 Netflix original, and we're going to talk about that more in a few minutes. Your number 6 this week is in its first season, and it is called My Name. It is the story of a cop who is trying to avenge the death of her father, and she's kind of living this double life because she has this certain loyalty to this crime lord, I think, if you want to call him that. And he sort of has this like emotional bond with her because he has promised to avenge the death of her father. So there's two very conflicting lifestyles going on there. Coming in at number 5 is also brand new to the Netflix top 10 in the US. It is a Netflix original, and it is called The Forgotten Battle. It is basically a World War II retrospective drama, so that's really interesting. That's very much up my alley. Coming in at number 4, this show has been going on for a very long time, and it kind of reads like a who's who of casting for television. It is officially in its 11th season, and it is now on Netflix. Coming in at number 4 is Shameless. Coming in at number 3, has been in the Netflix top 10, I think, for almost the last month, give or take. Your number 3 is Maid, M-A-I-D. Coming in at number 2 was the number 1 position over the last several weeks since it debuted for Netflix. It is none other than Squid Game. And I cannot wait to talk a little bit more about that with you coming up in a few minutes. And your number 1 this week, I know that my sister is very much obsessed with this show. I have not seen it yet, but she was also a very big fan of Gossip Girl. And apparently this series, it comes from one of the minds that helped bring about Gossip Girl and one of the producers of Riverdale. And it's based on the books by Caroline Kepnes. Your number 1 this week in its 3rd season on Netflix is none other than the hit You. That has been your Netflix top 10 for this week in the United States. And we're going to move on to some fun facts. I want to introduce you guys to this newer segment on the Talks with Taeler Hendrix podcast, because it's actually some content that I do weekly now on my YouTube channel. So you definitely don't want to miss Wicked Q&A Wednesdays, Fun Fact Fridays, motivations, updates on this podcast, and so much more on my YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Taeler Hendrix. And with that, we're going to transfer right in, and we're going to go boop, boop, to fun facts. Yay! So this week's fun facts actually has to do with a certain theme for Spooktober, in case you guys haven't come up with that theme just yet. Oh, it's my favorite time of year. It's the most wicked time of year. I love it. Okay, so your number 2 this week in the Netflix top 10 was Squid Game. And I keep wanting to call it Squid Games, so pardon me if I do that. I do not know why my brain is so intent on going Squid Games. Squid Game, singular, is officially the number 1 most profitable show by Netflix ever. And there are some pretty miraculous things going on with this. Not only has Squid Game opened the door for more Korean adaptations for Netflix, it has also generated a massive amount of profit for Netflix, the company, based on world viewerships. So I'm going to go into this with you guys, and you guys are going to kind of see some of my nerdness come out, because yes, I do read Business Insider and Bloomberg reports. So I don't think those are, you know, habits that people necessarily associate with Taeler Hendrix, but that's why I always say there's so much more to me than people really give me credit for in the wrestling business. They really kind of try to put me in a box, and I hate that box. I'm always, you know, trying to jump out of it before they can tape me and staple me in there. And I think this is one of those instances. So according to Business Insider and Bloomberg reports, Netflix apparently spent $21 million making Squid Game. Now, that may seem like an outrageous amount of money. However, one of the reasons why I want to bring this up is because since it was filmed in Korea, it cost less money than what it would have being filmed in the United States. So you could probably add, you know, at least $10 million, I would assume, onto that $21 million price tag for Squid Game if it was done in the United States. And so that's really cool. And one of the reasons why it's so cool is because of the return on the investment, which if you want to abbreviate that, that's called an ROI, which I talk a lot about in terms of wrestling and bookings and all this other stuff. So the ROI for Squid Game is estimated at almost $900 million. That is insane, guys. Check out that profit. It cost roughly $21 million to make the first season of Squid Game. And it's so far generated almost $900 million. That means it has surpassed the previous record holder for Netflix, which was the hit show Bridgerton, which came in with a profit of $82 million. So that is a huge jump. $82 million versus $900 million. That is crazy. So it has officially superseded Bridgerton, and Bridgerton was one of the biggest hits of Netflix original content. So this is just crazy. Apparently, it has been viewed by over 132 million people, and it also apparently cost roughly $2.4 million per episode, which is according to the reports, because Netflix doesn't release much of this material, so it gives like certain reports to certain companies like Bloomberg every now and again, but they keep that pretty close to the vest, so to speak. But apparently this $2.4 million price tag per episode for Squid Game filmed in Korea, it is cheaper than both The Crown and Stranger Things, which are also two very big heavy hitters for Netflix. So this is really, really cool. It's officially the most watched original show for Netflix, Squid Game. It's estimated that people have watched at least, in their first round of watching Squid Games, they've watched at least 75 minutes. And what's kind of cool about this, I mentioned on a previous episode of this podcast, is the writer for Squid Game originally was writing this in 2008 and finished it in 2009. One of the delays was because he ran out of money to pay his bills and so forth, so he actually had to sell the laptop that he was working on Squid Game with, and it was originally written to be a film. I think the rights to this, and Netflix signed on to this project in either 2018 or 2019, so that's how long it took to film this, obviously with the pandemic and everything else notwithstanding. And what's really cool is when he originally finished the script for Squid Game, it was rejected by over 10 different studios, even though he already had a reputation for excellence with several other Korean projects that were major hits in Korea. And I think that this is just a really cool, story to add to, J.K. Rowling and Stephen King and all of these other success stories that started off in failure with rejection. And that's why I always say failure is just a necessary step on the ladder of success. You really have to believe in yourself before anyone else will, and cheer for yourself in the silence, letting your success be your noise. And this is indicative of my own philosophies. I think it is amazing, and I love reading stories like that. So to go from, having to sell his laptop because he can't afford to pay certain bills to now being the most watched original content on Netflix. If I do say so myself. So that is one of your fun facts for this week. The other fun fact is Halloween Kills officially debuted over the weekend. We've been pumping it up for weeks on the Talks with Taeler Hendrix podcast. It originally had around a $10 million budget, and it has apparently reached record numbers and overperformed as far as the horror movie was originally projected to do. It was originally projected to score only between 25 and like $33 million in the domestic box office, but apparently in the North American box office, it actually gained $50.4 million with a budget of between 10 to 20 million. And you have to factor into that 10 to 20 million all of the marketing and other aspects that people often forget about. But that was pretty cool. It beat out The Last Duel and James Bond's No Time to Die. It officially replaced No Time to Die in the #1 position in the box office. But very mixed reviews from a lot of critics. So make sure you head on over to my YouTube channel for more information on that, because I will be doing a review on that. Halloween Kills will officially be my first ever review for movie reviews by Taeler Hendrix. Super excited. Definitely check that out.